You are listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast with your host, licensed massage therapist, Kyle Pleasant. Here, we will be discussing topics on health and wellness, as well as self-improvement, and his experiences as a legally blind massage therapist. And now, here's your host, Kyle.
And hello again, and welcome to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Pleasant. I hope everyone is having a great summer. My family and I just spent a few weeks doing a little traveling, getting to see family, and it was a pretty nice experience. Of course, anytime that you do a lot of traveling, it can definitely bring about certain levels of stress, and also when you're visiting family, sometimes, that can also be stressful situations depending on who and what you're dealing with. So this week, it kind of reminded me of the word serenity, and there's a couple of things that, come into play there. I've seen, you've got like the serenity prayer that they use in the 12-step programs and stuff like that. And then also there's that episode of Seinfeld that comes to mind where they're taught the phrase Serenity Now. And you can see, like, whenever George is in like a stressful situation, he's sitting there screaming, "Serenity now, serenity now," which in that particular situation, is nowhere near bringing any kind of serenity, but it's funny to think about. The serenity prayer that they use for the 12-step programs is, at the end they say, Lord, help me help me change the things that I can, accept the things that I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so it got me thinking about, all the traveling that I've done, the last, few weeks, and whenever I think about, serenity or that serenity prayer, there are things that come into play where, like, if your flight is delayed or your gate gets changed, there's not a whole lot you can really do about that except go with the change, and sometimes it makes you late for another flight, or sometimes, it gets canceled, and, those are definitely frustrating situations, but it's one of those situations that you want to be able to, accept those changes with grace, and with, a certain amount of dignity and decorum, I guess, or whatever, and then there's the other things that, you made the choice to go where it is that, you wanted to go, and to see the family that you wanted to see. And sometimes, when you're dealing with family, you can't change their mind, you can't change some of the things that they might say, or the emotions that they might bring up, or, in the past, or whatever. So those are things that, again, can be challenging for you, but you can make the choice on how to deal with those relatives, or deal with those situations, or deal with the past, And I've often said that, unforgiveness is a situation that can contaminate your energy, that can contaminate your good. If you have unforgiveness in your life, then it keeps you from finding your joy and finding your peace and your bliss. And so, you can make that choice to let things go, or to deal with certain situations with a kind heart. And then there are things that are in your life that you can change. There are certain, choices that you can make that are going to bring you peace. But nobody is responsible for your happiness except for you. And so whenever you say, when you pray, help me to change the things that I can, well, then it's up to you, because you have free will, to decide whether, you want to change that situation. And if it brings you towards peace, then, it's definitely a good choice to make. I mean, this world is built with all kinds of things that are wanting to challenge you, and you can perceive them as both good or bad. And I've said before that it's not what happens to you that is good or bad, but how you respond to each individual circumstance. And it makes me think of the quote about Einstein that, the one fundamental choice that we have in life is, do I live in a friendly and hostile universe? And if you're holding one of those dichotomies in your mind, whether you're in a friendly universe where all things work to the greater good, or there are things, the situations that are happening to your life are meant to harm you and destroy your life, and, the universe is conspiring against you, or whatever it is, whatever belief you hold is what you're going to continue to see. And oftentimes the universe brings forth different patterns, that if you don't learn a particular lesson or get from a particular situation what it is that you wanted, then the pattern is that the universe is going to put that same obstacle in your field again until you actually learn the lesson, or until you get to the point where you are accepting of that particular situation. So holding, and there are situations that, are not pleasant, that you might be experiencing in your life right now that may not be a pleasant situation. But if you hold the belief that the circumstance that you're going through right now is meant for something greater, a greater lesson, or a greater good, then you're going to, learn that lesson a lot quicker, and not see it show up in your life more over and over and over again. And if you're holding in your consciousness that all things work to the greater good, then you can start to find joy in even the most difficult situations. You can start finding blessings in everything that happens, whether it's a perceived good thing or a perceived bad thing. You can start finding peace and blessings in everything in your daily life. And so there's just some food for thought there that I, thought about, flying to and from on the airplanes this past month or whatever. And I hope something out there inspires you in some way. And as always, like and subscribe, and, share this with somebody that might need it. And if you want to reach out, podcast@pleasantspirit.com, or there's, like I say, the little video message down there or voice message at the bottom of the show notes. And until next time, be well and have a pleasant day.
Thank you for listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast. We hope you found today's show informative. Please take a moment to write a review. And if you want to reach out or have show ideas, you can email at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. You can also visit his website at pleasantspirit.com. If you are in the Portland, Oregon area, you can schedule a massage or one of his coaching services at pleasanttouchmassage.com. See you next time, and always be well.